It's time for the Orange Bowl tomorrow night as I'm recording this live. It is game day as you're watching it. Georgia getting ready for the Orange Bowl against Florida State. Here we go. All right. Good evening. Happy game day. If you're just catching this on Saturday morning, I'm Corey Burton. This is the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this a part of your listening schedule. As you can see, I've gotten some new items on the set, got a new camera, so you notice a little different of an angle, got a new hoodie. This is arguably one of my favorite hoodies now. I got some new artwork in the background, so looking forward to it, man. This is going to be a great show. This show is presented by Betonline.ag, your number one source for all your sports wagering needs. If you want to bet it, betonline.ag has it. And boy, do they have it. And so it's NHL, full swing, NBA, MLB getting ready to kick off they're in winter meetings, so they're going to kick off in late March. But NFL's getting ready to roll into the playoffs. College football bowl games finishing up. So plenty to bet on at betonline.ag. They also have a online casino as well. If you're into that kind of thing, they have it. So go to the website, betonline.ag, and enter the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that's BLEAV to get a welcome deposit, to get a 50% welcome deposit on your, to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Got going too fast there. BetOnline.ag, it's where the game starts. Well, speaking of the games, these bowl games have been interesting this year. It's been kind of weird as far as like what teams are winning, what teams are dominant, what teams are not dominant, what teams are showing up, things like that. All the opt outs are in full swing, things like that. Israel and I talked about the committee and how they may or may not have gotten it right or wrong with Florida State. If you want to hear our opinion, we probably talked about it a few weeks ago when it happened. But nonetheless, Florida State is matched up here with Georgia in the Orange Bowl, and it's going to be an interesting contest because Florida State is a tough out. They do have some good athletes, but they have a ton of opt outs, which doesn't necessarily bode well for them. This game opened at Georgia minus 17.5. I think it's stayed there. I don't think there's much action on Florida State, so it's 17.5 right now is the line. Which honestly, with what Georgia has not opting out and what Florida State has opting out, this game could be real lopsided real quick. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of preview matchup wise that we can really kind of get into. But some things that I'm excited about, right? We'll start off with the obvious. Brock Bowers and Marius Mims, they are with the team. They practiced a little bit. They'll be on the sideline with jerseys on, but they're not going to be fully dressed out. Which Brock Bowers, I don't know that he's healthy. He kind of went down in the SEC championship. I don't think that he is right, and so it's probably a good idea to just go ahead and put him on the injured list and just say, "Hey, Brock, we love that you had a great career. We love that you're supporting the team, things like that." But I just don't think he would be able to go at 100%. Marius Mims has been in and out of injury as well. He's going to be one of those in attendance. I guess you could call him an opt-out. I don't know how you classify him, but he will be on the sidelines rooting on his teammates. Both will be extremely high draft picks and probably and hopefully have long and prosperous NFL careers. Kamari Lassiter is expected to suit up. Um, he'll play less than normal, probably. He's a little banged up, but they're also going to want to probably get some other guys some looks as well to see kind of what they have depth wise. Um, Julian Humphrey could. There's some question marks here about who's going to suit up. Julian Humphrey could suit up. If he doesn't, Daniel Harris could see some action. I'm excited. I'm really excited about Lad McConkey. This is his curtain call, man. This is his what he's calling his last ride, man. He's gonna. I think Carson Beck's going to find him early and often. I think he's going to have a huge game. He should, and it would be a very, very fitting send off for him. I think having him kind of step up into that role will be amazing for him because of what he's meant for this program and some of the adversity that he's dealt with. I'm super excited about what Lad McConkey can do on in this game. So it's again with most and as I said before, as far as like previewing the game, there's not much to preview. It's all gonna be like different. It's all gonna be in the mindset, right? It's all gonna be like, okay, well, Florida State, all they've been hearing is, how they don't deserve to be in the game, how they got screwed, how they've just been hearing the back and forth with all of that. They've been pissed. They've been busy trying to get legislative help from the governor, the state house, the national senators, and whoever else can get involved politically. They've been trying to make a lot of fuss about that, and I think honestly that's probably been a big distraction for them. They've done is answer question over question over question over question about that, and so they've had a lot of guys opt out too. Like, okay, well, we're not in the playoffs. We're just gonna not play in this one, and good luck, guys. And so that's gonna be, it's gonna be rough for them, man. I honestly, I think their mindset is just kind of all over the place. And Mike Norvell's got his work cut out for him here. It was going to be a really tough matchup to begin with, and I think it would have been a really tough matchup for them had they had their full complement of players. They're also dealing with the whole conference realignment stuff. Like they're battling with the ACC as a university. And so that could also come into play here as far as a distraction. I don't know, but Georgia's pissed about not being in the playoff. They're pissed about losing to Alabama. They want to end the season on a high note. That's a little bit different of a mentality. I think in Kirby's third year, it was the third year where they were coming off a national championship runner-up. They lost to Bama in the SEC championship, ended up getting a Sugar Bowl berth, kind of similar to what's going on now. They played an emerging Texas team with what's his name, Sam Ellinger, and they got their butt kicked because they weren't focused. They had guys that were opted out, but on the sideline that were just major distractions, and it was just bad. It was a bad deal all around. They lost. Kirby's like, yeah, never again. The next year, they beat Baylor, and then the rest is history. They've done well in bowl games ever since. So, I think the mindset stuff is going to be interesting. So, does Florida State have a chance? They're starting Brock Glenn, right? Okay, so do they have a chance to cover the 17.5 points? That's the question you're probably all asking yourself. Do they have a chance to cover? And they have Brock Glenn, who has never seen a defense even remotely close to this, because the only time he saw any sort of college defense was against Louisville. I mean, he's seen his own defense, which is pretty talented in its own right, but that's practice. He's not seen Georgia's defense. I think it'll be good for him. He is going to be without Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Trey Benson, Jaheim Bell. He's not going to have any of those weapons. So it's going to be how deep does their depth chart run with talent? We're gonna find some names. There's going to be some names that you're like, okay, this guy, he's a player, he's a dude, right? So They're just going to have to. Florida State's just going to get creative, honestly, if they want a chance in this game. If they want a chance to cover, if they want a chance to win, if they want a chance to even score points, whatever, however you want to phrase it. If they want a point, they're going to have to get creative, and getting creative means takeaways, special teams, trick plays, and just hopefully taking advantage of the fact that Georgia might be running out some guys as well on their side with with some of these younger DBs who communication's been an issue this whole season. Maybe Georgia simplifies. Hopefully, Georgia simplifies their game plan. Um, those are the keys for Florida State. The key for Georgia: pressure, 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 pressure. C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson have to have a tremendous game. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Hit Brock Glenn. Hit him again. Hit him again and again and again and again. Make him peel himself off the turf every single time he throws. Get pressure in his face. All right, these DBs, they've got to communicate. And I think on the coaching side of it, I think Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, I think they have to come up with a plan that's digestible, easy to communicate with a bunch of new guys. Like I think sometimes they get a little bit too elaborate, and guys don't understand the side adjustments. Guys don't understand formation adjustments or pattern matching and stuff like that, where there's has to be a lot of thinking going on and a lot of quick thinking and a lot of quick processing, and these guys don't necessarily have that. No fault to them; they're just not developed. So they're going to have to probably simplify the game plan a little bit. Maybe just go out there and say, "Hey, we're just going to go. We're just going to play hard, man. We're just going to go. We're going to come after you. We're going to play hard. We're going to play some simple coverages behind some good pressure, and we're just going to flat get after you." So the keys to Georgia for offense: get the run game going, man. Kendall Milton, Deshaun Edwards, get them rolling. Get Kendall Milton, send him off in the right way as well. Find Ladd McConkey plenty of times. Develop a tight end. So you got Lawson Lucky, Oscar Delp, Pierce Sperlin. If he's ready to go, he may get some action. Get some of these receivers. Get Ra Thomas more comfortable. Get Dominic Lovett more comfortable, and let's get this thing cracking. So I think we can end it simply by saying this: if Georgia comes in as focused as they've been in bowl prep, they will be just fine. Again, they will be just fine. So, some other things happening. Some other things that are really, really good, actually. When you look at what Georgia's done in the transfer portal, I'm loving it, man. They got a Christmas miracle in getting Trevor Etienne. This was this was something that the last time I did a solo thing, it wasn't a surprise. It was just a matter of when. And the longer he drew it out, the more I actually kind of doubted it a little bit. But Trevor Etienne, man, he is a special player, right? He is running back from Florida. Didn't really get his full complement of stuff because I think Florida just kind of misused him a little bit, and they just didn't have a whole lot of talent around him. So I think it's something that when you look at how he plays, man, he's a special dude, man. He's electric. I mean, he's got a good bloodline. His brother Travis is playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he is about as electric as it gets. So I'm excited about this one. He's a great downhill runner, great receiver, out of the backfield. Just can do a lot of everything. He has good vision, good awareness, good burst through the hole, and then he can also pull away from you. As I'm watching clips against Tennessee, he is just an all around dude. He just gets it, man. He just has really good awareness, and he can kind of get through some tight spots. Also, a couple receivers joining the mix with Ladd McConkey leaving, Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint likely, I think he's graduating as well. I think you're losing some pieces there. Uh, had a couple of transfer portal stuff. You get Colby Young from Miami and London Humphreys from Vanderbilt. Now London Humphreys is he's somebody that I think is going to be your new he's going to be your new Lad McConkey. He's uh he's 6'3". He's a little bit taller than Lad McConkey, and he's from Nashville. So I'm excited about what Georgia's getting in London Humphreys. I think he's somebody that could come in immediately and make an impact. He's a smart, intelligent football player, understands spatial awareness, makes some really, really good catches down the field, um, has really good burst. If you can hit him in stride, he's just a playmaker, man. Georgia saw for Kirby Smart saw firsthand in a game that got really interesting unnecessarily at Vanderbilt. It was because London Humphreys was making plays down the field, and he's not just somebody that's a possession receiver. Now you know what I'm talking about, but he's somebody that he's electric. He can he can make it go. He had 22 catches, 439 yards, and scored 4 times for in an offense that was abysmal, and an offense that really had no plan. They couldn't decide on a quarterback. They couldn't protect the quarterback. They couldn't. I mean, it's just an offense that could not function. Just simply put, it just could not function. And as a wide receiver, if you're in a dysfunctional offense, it's really hard to put up good numbers. But this guy's a guy that's certainly capable of putting up really, really good numbers for wherever he would have landed. He would have put up really, really good numbers. But he's just so quick. He's really sharp in and out of his breaks. He, like I said, he just his understanding of the game and understanding how to run routes and why you run routes certain ways, I think is vastly important from the wide receiver position. So I'm so stoked, man. A couple guys joining in. Mike Freeman, aloha from Pearl Harbor. Go Dogs, man. I love it. Thank you for joining me, David Johnson. Go Dogs, man. This is exciting, man. This Orange Bowl is going to be pretty on point, man. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see these new transfers in the spring. I'm excited to see Colby Young. I'm excited to see London Humphreys, Trevor Etienne. Those are the ones I'm most excited about because I think they're gonna those three are dynamite, dude. They are absolute dynamite. So Colby Young coming in from the U, right? Coming in from the U. He's also dynamite in a bottle. So Colby Young, watching his film right now. Again, he's somebody that explodes off the ball, jumps off the page at you. He's somebody that I really enjoy watching, and I think he was a big part of why the Canes were somewhat successful, at least early in the year. But he's just looking for a place where he can go and thrive, and maybe get in the best league in all the land. Um, just a playmaker, dude. Just the athletic ability, the ability to find the ball in the air. There was a play against Virginia Tech in particular where he ran a go route up the numbers, and Van Dyke dropped one in the bucket. DB was holding him. I think they threw a flag on it. DB was holding him. He just reaches out with his right paw and just snags it out of the air. I mean, it was something. It was something thoroughly impressive. And so, um, you're probably and on a side note, you're probably wondering why the heck I'm sitting here by myself, recording without Israel. A, I needed to get a show out there. B, well, he's coaching in the Georgia Elite Classic. That game happened earlier this evening. That was a fun experience for him. I think this is his second year doing that. He was state championship coach, offensive coordinator for the Ware County Gators. They didn't make it to the state championship this year, but they had a really nice season, made it to the second round of the playoffs before they got knocked out by Warner Robins. But he's off doing that, so that's exciting for him. I'm excited for him to get a chance to do some things that will allow him to build his resume and get some really, really good coaching experience and make some really good network of people that he can contact throughout the whole process. So I'm excited for Israel. I am just kind of taking the slack over as he's doing that, and we'll reconvene next week probably. I want to get his opinion. We'll obviously talk about the Orange Bowl and what transpired. And then we'll talk about some of these transfers and what kind of impact they're going to make. And we're finally going to talk some hoops, which I might get into a little hoops. Well, maybe not. I'll save that for next week. But that would be kind of our adventure into conference play for Mike White and the Bulldogs. Man, they've been pretty good, man. They've been pretty special on the hardwood. So I've been excited about what this Georgia basketball team can accomplish. So, but hold your thoughts there. Maybe I might get to it. So, but the transfer portal guys were outstanding. Early signing day. I don't think we got a chance to do an early signing day show. We went on Christmas break. There was a lot of things going on. Don't think we had a chance to ever do one with that. So we'll talk. Israel and I will talk more about these recruits in general. But man, the biggest one, obviously, KJ Bolden. Holy cow, man! Did not think we'd get him. Florida State's probably a little upset about that. But he is a 6'2", 180-pound DB from Beaufort, Georgia. Didn't think we were going to get him. I think Israel and I talked about Dylan Raiola flipping. I think that was the last time we saw you. But KJ Bolden, man, special dude, and he'll be a 3-year player before he goes to the NFL. Man, this guy's special. I'm excited about Nasir Johnson, 6'5", 290 on the defensive line. We need some guys like that. Like I really kind of like the taller, leaner defensive linemen that are quick. That because we move a lot. Georgia moves a lot, so that's going to be a really, really big asset. Nnamdi Ogboko from Garner, North Carolina, 6'4", 350. So that guy is pretty freaking huge. He's going to be a big cog in the middle. And then you have Jordan Thomas from New Jersey, 6'6", 296, also in the defensive tackle position. I think that was a position that we said, okay, we're gonna prioritize that in high school recruiting because, well, that was probably the weakest position that we had this past season. Not to say we didn't have any talent. It's just that we didn't have that dude that would just dominate like we've had the last few years with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, those guys, and even Trenton Thompson and back to then. So it's just something, we just got to find that big superstar. And I think trying to get some of these guys like Nnamdi Ogboko, like trying to find the next Jordan Davis, where you just have some big athletic dude in the middle. You have some like smaller, faster guys like Nasir Johnson from Dublin, 6'5", 290. He'll obviously come in and put on a little bit of weight there. I'm excited about that. But just this defensive line class has me fired up. So the comments, man, they're popping off, man. Stay true. Florida State about to get mopped. 24 players not playing. Yeah, that is absolutely true. Yep. Yeah, I was watching this. They played in the empty cereal bowl. Oof, it was bad, man. Yeah, that was an ugly game for a while, man. It set football back tremendously. But Eli Drinkwitz, man, he was considered by a lot probably going to be the first fired in the SEC. He was picked 13th overall in the conference as far as record goes. Like, nobody expected Missouri to do anything. They didn't expect him to go to any bowl. So I will take that, man. I will definitely take that. So yeah, double zeros. Stay true. But yeah, Ohio State, Missouri. Glad I'm always happy to see Ohio State lose. It's so funny because they absolutely hate Ryan Day over there. Like, they're absolutely probably still blaming the fact that Oh, we only lost because Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't play. Well, pretty big deal, but again, it's football. Injuries happen. But yeah, so um, yeah, Ryan Day. I mean, there's something about him. Like I just it just doesn't feel like he's genuine, you know? I mean, I don't think he sucks as a coach. I think he's got a lot of knowledge. I think he's pretty good at what he does, but I just don't I think he sucks at like motivating his players. And I think where he is bad is connecting, right? That's where Kirby's so elite, is the connection piece of it. Ryan Day is not. Ryan Day does not connect, and you can kind of tell. It just doesn't seem doesn't seem like they're always on the same page. It doesn't seem like they're with it, right? I think where Eli Drinkwitz with Missouri, I think where he made his biggest leap was, and I think the turning point obviously absolutely was the Georgia game last year. And I mean, even though they lost that game, that was the turning point for them, because up until that game, they were thinking about firing him midseason last year, you know, and now here he is. He is screaming on the podium at the Cotton Bowl, at the Cotton Bowl trophy ceremony. But he found a connection point with his players. And he finally found that point where they now believe in him. And so by doing that, he was able to get them to buy in a little bit. He's able to get a few recruits in, like Luther Burden comes in, and now he is an absolute menace. He gets Cody Schrader. I keep wanting to call him Connor. He gets Cody Schrader out of the portal, and he comes in and freaking tears it up. You lose Connor Bazelak, and you're thinking, okay, well, they don't have a quarterback to throw to Luther Burden. Who the heck is going to throw the ball to him? Brady Cook comes in, lights it up, man. Connor Bazelak proves that he is just not very, very good. So, um, Slim, I appreciate you, man. We try, right? We try. But like I said, it's even more lit when Israel's here beside me. So go watch some of our previous episodes. I'm just kind of holding down the fort here, man. So you guys in the chat, man, just keep these questions coming as I go. I'm gonna kind of go on about this recruiting class, but you guys keep it coming. But yeah, like I said, the Cotton Bowl is terrible, man. How about Kentucky not holding up their end of the bargain, which I kind of predicted that, but they lost a close one today against Clemson, which this Clemson team's been like a roller coaster, man. They've been kind of up and down anyway. So that game was just that season for them has been pretty weird, because they come out and get freaking hammered by Duke, and then they get hammered by Florida State. They hammer Georgia Tech, who's actually a really good football team, who beat a really good UCF team in their bowl game. But yeah, Kentucky did. They had some chances too, man, but they couldn't get it done. Could not get it done. But don't worry, Missouri's here. They got it done for sure. This is a good question. I got Alabama. I got Alabama. I want Alabama to win that one. Not a fan of Michigan whatsoever. I think Alabama I don't think Michigan has an answer for Jalen Milroe. I don't think that Michigan can block Braswell and Dallas Turner. I think JJ McCarthy is going to get destroyed. They're not. If you remember the Orange Bowl a couple of years ago when they played Georgia, how that game went, that's how I see this game going against Alabama. I just don't think they match up very well, because what Michigan wants to try to do is exactly what Alabama is the best at defending, which Georgia tried to mimic the game plan that Michigan wants to do, and got beat for the first time in 30 tries. So it's Michigan for sure. I think the better game, honestly, is going to be Texas Washington. I think that one's going to be tight, man. That one's going to be high scoring. That one's going to be exciting. If you want a really, really good football game, Quinn Ewers versus Michael Penix Jr., like, you need to watch that and take notes, because they're going to show you how quarterbacks are supposed to play. It's going to look a lot like that Washington Oregon game, that first one, where you had Bo Nix versus Michael Penix Jr. It was kind of like the battle for the Heisman at the time, which um, obviously that game didn't hold up like that because Jaden Daniels just absolutely put on a show for the entire season and stole. Well, I wouldn't say he stole the Heisman, but he kind of snuck in there, just kind of jumped in front of those two, and just I guess you could say I guess you could say stole, but um, yeah, Texas Washington, that's going to be the game right there. Texas Alabama rematch of the '09 uh, Rose Bowl, rematch of the last two games in the series where they're split, so that's going to be good. What's UJ's win record in 2024? What spot of the CFP will Georgia be at the end? It's going to be weird, man, because the uh, the way the SEC is set up, like the schedule's so much different. Georgia has a brutal schedule. But there's a lot of teams that have drastically improved, like Ole Miss has drastically improved with the stuff that they've gotten in the transfer portal. Alabama will always be Alabama. The way the SEC championship is set up, I think you're going to have it's going to be a true 1 versus 2 in the conference. I think Georgia will be there, though. I think Carson Beck coming back. You have all those receivers coming back with the additions of Humphreys and Jacoby White, and you have Trevor Etienne coming into the mix in the run game. Branson Robinson coming off injury. Like I don't know if you've seen that guy's arms, but they're about as they're tree trunks attached to his shoulder. It's ridiculous. But all that to answer your question, I think 11-1 at worst for Georgia. Not exactly sure where the loss comes. There's a gauntlet there where they play Alabama on the road, which is always a tough place to win. So you could probably chalk that one up as as a as a loss there. So I'm gonna say 11-1. They'll probably be about the 11-1, and depending on if they win the SEC championship, they'll probably, if they win the SEC, they'll be the number 1 seed. If they lose the SEC, they'll probably be the 5 or 6. Um, yeah, the kick six, that was a very special season for them because 2 games prior to that, they had the prayer at Jordan where 2 Georgia players collided and the ball popped out and dude ran it in. So yeah, I remember that one. I was I ran through the gamut of emotions in that one. So yeah, that was but that was fun when they beat Alabama for sure. Um, but yeah, 2000 um, that was in 2013. The kick six was 2013. Um, Best SEC game that I've ever seen. That's a great question, Slim. There's a bunch of those, man. One of my favorite ones was in 2004. I was a student at Georgia. 2004, Nick Saban had come in. They'd come in. They had just beaten us the prior season in the SEC championship. They'd beaten us twice that season, actually, and they had just come off a national championship. And I Georgia just beat the brakes off of them. That was a lot of fun. The Georgia Florida game that year was also a ton of fun. The that was that was a lot of fun because Georgia kind of pulled away in that one. I would say probably the best one that I've seen, like just far as like best game back and forth game that I've ever seen. 2002 Georgia Auburn, where you had the Michael Johnson catch. I think that was one of the ones that I've seen in person. Now there's a lot that I've watched on TV that would probably mirror that, like the Rose Bowl. I didn't see that in person. I don't know if that counts, but like obviously the 2017 Rose Bowl, the two the Peach Bowl last year against Ohio State, the the national championship the year before against Alabama. Like those games were incredible, but like games that I was actually in person at were was that one where Michael Johnson went up and caught it to win the division for the first time in over a decade. That ultimately led to their first SEC championship in 20 years. So or 30 years at that point. It was a long time. So to answer your question, the best game that I've ever seen in person was probably that one. The best game that I ever watched on TV. The best Georgia game that I've ever seen was or the best SEC game I've ever seen was that national championship in 2020. Was I guess it was 21 season year 2022. The one in Indy where Georgia beat Alabama. That was really really good, and a couple of them that I've seen SEC championship that were losses that were really really good games actually. So lots of good SEC games. The kick six game was one of the best that I've watched on TV that didn't involve Georgia. There's a lot of good SEC games, like the Bluegrass Miracle was a good one. I remember watching that in high school. Um, you have the 7 overtime game between LSU and Texas A&M. That was a fun one. I kept trying to go to bed because it was late. I just couldn't because I was like, I can't turn this game off. So that's a really good question, Slim. There's a lot of different caveats as far as like picking a game. So you guys tell me, what's the best SEC game you've ever seen? You tell me. I will say, give me one that you've seen in person, and the best one that you've seen that you've watched, like start to finish. So those are interesting questions. It's a really good question though. There's a lot of games, man. There's a lot of memories. A lot of really really good games. A lot of really good bowl games. The Texas USC game is arguably considered the best game of all time. Um, the fact that it was for a repeat national championship, the Georgia TCU game for me was really, really good. I really enjoyed watching that, um, just because of the implications of that. But yeah, so that was really, really good. Keep the questions coming, guys. These are really, really good stuff. Mike, I appreciate it, man. That was a really good question there. From Hawaii, man. Jeez, we got a broad reach, man. To believe in Georgia dogs, man. This is exciting stuff, man. Um, so basketball. You guys watch? Hopefully, you guys watch basketball, man. Georgia basketball's been really, really good. Actually, I've been impressed with what they've been able to do in the sport of basketball because of how abysmal they were last year. Like I don't know if you guys remember that, but I tried to block that out, but they just keep winning, man. I mean, they beat North Florida, obviously, but they've won 6 in a row, dude. Like it's crazy. Like they've been rolling, man. Abdur Rahim um, has been great, man. This team is just the way they've responded has been incredible, man. Like Noah Thompson, Silas Demary, uh, Jabari Abdur Rahim is they won 7 in a row actually. They've I mean they've been playing really good team basketball, man. They've competed well. They've some things that plagued Georgia basketball a year ago was rebounding. They had zero presence inside, defending, which you saw a lot of teams just cruise into the basket. Not so much this year, man. They're tough, man. They're getting rebounds. They're hitting shots. They're actually moving the ball around. They're actually playing good team basketball. Like I've always maintained the fact that Georgia always played like 5 guys that just met at the Y and they called next. Right? That's what I've always said Georgia is. That. And they're not that anymore. I'm excited to see what they do in conference play because this league is really, really good. So I'm excited about it, man. We'll talk more about that as conference play gets rocking and rolling. But man, you know, man, it's been 40 minutes already. Holy cow! You guys, thank you for hanging with me, man. Will Georgia go over 40 points on offense? Yes, yes, they will. They absolutely will. I think they're gonna have a big day. Actually, it might be a little slow at the first because bowl games usually work that way. But yeah, they're gonna go over 40. It's gonna be a lot like a lot of the early games were, where it's like, oh God, like what are we doing? And then they just pull away late, and next thing you know, it's like 42-7, and you're like, how did we get here? But yeah, absolutely. I think we'll hit 40. Um, according to Bet Online, let me check what the line is. Betonline.ag. We'll see if it's still at 17 and a half or if it's kind of been bet down a little bit. Um, they, I don't want to show that. So yeah, yeah, 40 points. I think it'd be easy. Let's see. It is now Georgia is now minus 20, so the line's gone up. The money line is minus 1,400, which is you're basically losing money. The over under set at 44 and a half. Georgia will. I feel like Georgia could almost cover that by themselves. So, yeah, that's your most recent updated line. Who will be the second string quarterback next year? I think it's Gunner. I've always maintained that it's Gunner. That's why Brock transferred. Brock was kind of that de facto guy, but he was getting beat out by Gunner. And Gunner's a special dude. And Gunner, yeah, Gunner's a special dude. I'm a big fan of Gunner Stockton. Hey, I don't care if it's off topic, man. I love talking about the Lions, man. The Lions have been one of my favorite stories in the NFL. Dan Campbell, like if you don't want to run through a wall for that guy, holy cow. That's a tough one, man. Honestly, before you type out who you have, Dallas is kind of struggling, but they've got a lot of firepower. Micah Parsons is almost nearly impossible to block. So anytime that he's playing, that's usually a really, really tough guy to scheme for. CD Lamb's obviously a tough guy to scheme for defensively. But I think ultimately Detroit will win this game because they're hot. Dallas is kind of struggling a little bit. They're kind of scuffling a little bit. So they need to they have more ground to cover, I think, right now to kind of get back on track. So, yeah, I'm taking Detroit. Who do you have? Yeah, they're the brand new Lions, man. First division title in 30 years. Can you believe that? It's crazy. And then freaking old man Flacco. Good Lord, man. This turned into believe in the NFL. But yeah, old man Flacco, dude, he was getting ready to like hang him up for good because he wasn't getting any calls. Like everybody was like, nah, we're good. We don't want Joe. And then, man, he comes in and slinging it with the Browns. They've done a good job. The Browns have done a good job, like using Joe Flacco the right way and scheming the right way, planning the right way of like what he's good at and what he can do. So I've been very, very impressed with that. So yeah, the Browns are really good. To get back sort of on topic, Todd Monken has been tremendous in Baltimore. Like Lamar Jackson is playing MVP caliber football again, and Todd Monken is the offensive coordinator there. So, like, he's basically like the Superman version of Stetson Bennett. What Stetson Bennett was able to do under Todd Monken is incredible. Just imagine, you know, I couldn't imagine. Like, I was like, when he first took that job, I was like, oh my god, like he's going from Stetson Bennett to Lamar Jackson. Like, this is going to be ridiculous. This is a really good fit for Todd Monken because he has a similar style quarterback, and he's just good. And so they've been, they've been balling. So yeah, man. This has been fun. This has been a fun show so far. Who do you guys have in the? Who do you guys have winning the Super Bowl? That's a question for you guys out there. Mike, Slim. Rutgers quarterback plays like a running back. Yeah. That was more like I don't know if you guys remember who Jake Locker is, but he was first round pick for the Tennessee Titans because I live up here in Nashville, and I always said that he was a quarterback that believed he's a running back. I'm like, dude, you got to start playing like you're a freaking quarterback, man. But yeah, speaking of a program that's done really, really well, is Rutgers. Holy cow. Yeah, you probably get a lot of 49ers games out there in Hawaii. But yeah, they're good. Slim, put some money on it. Put like $5 on it. See what happens. If they win the Super Bowl, dude, that'd be incredible. Lions. Oh my god, that'd be really nice. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Like I would like Hard Knocks really kind of made me a big time believer in Motor City Dan Campbell, MCDC. So yeah, I'm I'm a huge fan of that. I would love that. Lions in the Super Bowl. Oh, well there you go. You're a Falcons fan. I don't know whether to say congratulations or I'm sorry. I'm the same. I'm in the same boat. I'm a Falcons fan, and I've lived up here in Nashville, and I just I'm having a hard time converting over to the Titans because I'm always one of those that likes to root for the team that's in my backyard, and I grew up in Atlanta, so that's my team. That's always been my team, and I can't just leave them behind. So yeah, I'm with you there. I'm gonna add Hawks to that list too, Mike. Um, Not because I'm a huge NBA fan, but just because like, hey, if I'm gonna root for an NBA team, it's gonna be the Atlanta Hawks. Like, and when they had a hockey team, I was gonna root for them. But since the hockey team left, it's been real easy to jump on the Nashville Predators, which I think you should become a Preds fan if you want to watch some NHL. I don't know how much NHL people like out there in Hawaii, but yeah, but yeah, definitely the Hawks. Panthers will win the Super Bowl. Win 2029. It was a pitiful season for them, man. They had some talent, man. They just uh yeah. Hi, who's your team? I'm a Preds fan, I guess if you want to call it that. Preds fan. Um, Became a Preds fan. Like I went to a game when I first moved up here, and I was hooked, man. That you want to talk about an environment, man? That's a who for a professional sport like hockey that like it's like a kind of a cult following. It, that's a that was a atmosphere, man. Like it felt like an SEC football game there with the Predators. It was amazing. And then they made that Stanley Cup run, lost in the finals, but lost in Game 6 of the finals that year. But they made that Stanley Cup run. But yeah, I'm a big hockey fan. Um, Starting to be, but yeah, I'm kind of teetering on the Titans, like the Titans coverage, and like I'm just kind of immersed in Titans. Um, like a lot of my secondary teams are Nashville related, like you see that right there, right? Um, I just thought that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, it's I'm starting to kind of gravitate towards some of the Nashville teams, like Nashville SC, for MLS, like the Preds. If Nashville gets a Major League Baseball team, which I've heard is in the works, but if they ever get a Major League Baseball team, like gonna have to be a fan of them. That it's gonna be hardest to quit the Braves though. The Braves are like my number one because that was the first thing that I really kind of grew up in, going to Braves games. Like as a little kid, like I wasn't like I just wasn't like a college football fan like that as a kid. Like I loved college football, but like I never really gravitated towards a team. My dad played at Florida State, so naturally I kind of just gravitated towards them a little bit. Um, Not sure which one you're referring to. I think they're all dope, but uh, this one is when Uga attacked the Auburn player, which it's kind of being blown out by the light there. This one is from actually the Rose Bowl, where where Isaiah Wynn lifted up Nick Chubb after scoring a touchdown. It's actually a charcoal painting, which is kind of cool. I need to move this I need to move this down a little bit. That's Macho Man. That's Randy Savage. Um, this is this is Tupac right here. This is Biggie right there. This is the football for my senior year of high school where my dad won his 100th game as head coach. And then right here over my shoulder, that's when press box caught on fire at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. And then my Nokia Sugar Bowl watch box right there. So yeah, I appreciate you admiring my set. I kind of like meticulously put this together. I got a new camera, so like now I got to put something like right here, almost like fill up that space, like move that down a little bit since it's not being shown, and it needs to be shown. Got my Rivals 5-star challenge backpack right there. Used to work for Rivals. I got a little mess down here. I got to clean up. So, but yeah, that's how we roll. Yeah, I used to work in the recruiting office. I was a student from 02 to 06. I worked in the Jalen Walker. Man, that dude is I'm a big fan of Jalen Walker. He's a dynamic player. It's just somebody that's he's just there, man. He like you just blink, man, and he's like making a play somewhere. You can't stop him. Like he's just another one of the like he's like the next dude in the line, like of like you have like Michael Williams, Jalen Walker, Trevon Walker, those guys, like all those like elite playmakers. Like he's just he's just in that list now. He's just one of those guys, and he's earned it. I'm a big fan of Jalen Walker. He's somebody that jumps off the page at you. One of my favorite all-time Georgia players to watch was actually Thomas Davis. I don't know if you remember him. He was Thomas Davis was somebody who would light you up. Yeah, it's his first or second year. I think it's the second year. Didn't get a whole lot of time last year, but he's really kind of come on this year. He kind of had to. He kind of had to grow up a lot last year, I think. And plus, he was behind Nolan Smith for first half of the year, and then he kind of worked his way in. But after Nolan Smith went down, but yeah, Thomas Davis, dude, would absolutely destroy you. Yeah, he played. He played for the Panthers. Um, he was he played safety at Georgia, and I saw him. They ran safety blitz 3 plays in a row against Alabama in 03 when Alabama came in. It was like Brody Croyle. They knocked out 3 quarterbacks in 3 plays, 3 consecutive plays. First down, off the edge, boom, destroys Brody Croyle. Second play, they bring in the backup, Spencer Pennington. Whew, comes off the edge, just murders him. Third play, third string guy. I don't even know his name. Just comes off the edge and destroys him. And then somehow they brought Brody Croyle back in, and it was insane. I've never seen anything like it. Haven't seen anything like it since. David Pollock was really fun to watch. He was one of those guys that just you look at him, you're like, how the hell is he playing like this? But dude was super athletic. I DJ Shockley was somebody that was really fun to watch. I really liked our linebacker Boss Bailey. He was somebody that would block field goals. He would jump from behind the line. He's the reason why they have the rule where you can't jump over the line. He's the reason because he had this 40. I think he had a 45-inch vertical. Played for he got drafted by the Lions. I think he had some injury stuff. Didn't really make it much in the NFL. His brother's in the Hall of Fame, champ. But it's yeah, it's crazy, man. Like some of the stuff. Like I remember a really fun game. I don't think it's a really memorable game as far as like college football lore, but like my freshman year, we snuck a bunch of beasts into the game, like in our jackets. We had these big puffy jackets that we wore because it was cold, and we snuck like a 6-pack each in these big puffy jackets, and it was Milwaukee's best, which is called Beast, and we called them Victory Beasts. And I remember we played against Eli Manning, and I remember Tim Jennings picked sixed him. That was one of my favorite moments. I went freaking nuts when that happened. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But anyway, well, I'm gonna jump off here, man. I'm gonna sign off. I've been going for about an hour. I hope you've enjoyed it, man. This chat has been a lot of fun, man. I think you guys stay around, stay true. Thank you for interacting. Double zeros, man. Appreciate you being here, Mike, coming all the way in from Hawaii. It's probably like dinner time there, so um, you're probably eating your dinner and watching me. So I appreciate you guys. Stick around the channel. Check out all of our content. Pass it along. Our social media stuff is right here on the page. At Coach Burton 36 is my personal X page. You can find me also. You can find the show on Instagram as well. Just man, just get involved. Stay with us, man. It's been a good ride, man. I appreciate you. This has been a great episode. When Israel gets back, we'll have some more good conversation. So stick around. We'll probably try to live stream a little bit more if you guys will jump in. So with that being said, uh, good night. Enjoy the game. When you wake up, it's probably game day. So make sure you enjoy it and stay safe out there. Have a happy new year. We'll see you back here in 2024. Good night. And as always, go Dogs.